Hi everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Don't mind the surroundings. I'm just in my car. I know I haven't been on here for a while, so I'm glad you guys are here with me. You know, sometimes I'm just like, I just can't bring myself to do it. So, and that's just real. But I should have gotten on here a while ago because I know what I have to say is going to be very helpful and encouraging to someone else. And so I truly apologize for not getting on here sooner. But last month I was on a 21-day fast. It was a corporate fast with a ministry that I follow. And the theme or the instructions for the fast, it was, aligning your life with God's will and divine recalibration. And so, the fast was just amazing from beginning to end. It was amazing. God he blessed me tremendously, and, after the fast, so like the last day of the fast, I really felt the Holy Spirit pressing on me to confess something that I had done when I was really young. Not trying to make excuses, but I was really young. When you're 12, 13 years old, which is how old I was, and you think, you're cute and you think you're grown and, all those types of things, you do things that you're not supposed to do. And so there was something that I did that I am not proud of, or I should say that I allowed to happen, that I was not proud of. And it was a betrayal to someone that was pretty close to me at that time. We've grown apart over the years, but we never had any issues or anything like that, other than just within myself, what I've been holding on to and really just hiding all these years. And so on the last day of that fast, I just really felt the Lord pressing upon me to confess. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, Lord, is this really you? Because see, over the years, like, I know that nothing that's done in the dark is going to stay hidden forever. Okay, so we know that. And so over the years, I wouldn't say it tormented me, but I definitely felt guilt. I felt shame. And, I just felt bad, and I always felt like one day this is going to come out. One day this is going to come out. I don't know how it's going to come out. I don't know what's going to happen. But nothing can stay in the dark forever. And it's been, 26 years. And so, something like that. I didn't do the exact math in my head, but somewhere around there. It's been a really, really long time. Like I said, I was a kid. And so, God's pressing me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I really have to do this. And, over the years, it would come to my mind, like, one day I'm going to have to confess this. And I will always just kind of or one day it's going to come out, and I will always just kind of put it to the back of my mind, brush it off and keep going. But every once in a blue moon, it would just come to my mind, to the forefront. And so when I felt God really, really pressing this on me, I'm like, man, I got to do this. I have to do this now. When God is pressing something on you and you don't have any peace, you have to do it and do it now. And so I'm like, oh God. And the devil, he was trying to get me to be disobedient, but I already knew, it was past that point. I knew I had to do what I had to do. And so I knew I was going to have to call this person and confess what I did and apologize. And I was scared. I was really scared, nervous. I was thinking of every bad thing that could possibly happen. Oh, this person's going to cuss me out. This person's going to start calling people up and telling them, everything. And, like, I'm like, you know what, whatever. And at the same time, I'm telling myself, like, whatever happens, just suck it up. You did it. Just suck it up, take it on the chin, whatever happens, just apologize. So, the whole day, I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, oh Lord. And then I'm like, Lord, now you're putting pressure on this person. Now you're making me put pressure on this person, because even though I'm telling them this and they might hate my guts, they're going to still have to forgive me, or they're going to be in wrong standing. Like, I'm just going back and forth with God and like, Lord, why? Like, I don't want to do this. Like, what about this? What about that? And so I was nervous, and the devil, of course, was playing on that as well. And so I finally called this person. And like I said, we're not really close, but we don't have any issues. This is still like a close person that I love and care about. You know what I mean? We're just, put it like this. We're close, not biologically, but kind of, put it that way. Anyways, if that makes sense. We just haven't talked, but like I said, no issues. I've always loved this person. But yeah, I did this thing that was wrong, a long time ago. And so I finally, text this person like, hey, can you call me? I don't know what you got going on. Can you just give me a call when you have a chance? And they did. And when I just tell you that God is so good, and it really is just important to be obedient, because even though you may be scared, God is going to work it out. And not everything, a lot of things that God tells you to do is not easy, but he's going to work it out. So here I'm thinking of every horrible thing that could possibly come from me confessing this. I mean, other than, okay, it's finally off my chest, but I thought it was just going to be bad, and I call, and from the time me and this person got on the phone, it was a good conversation. It was just good. It was just good. And, I've been on this journey with the Lord for 3 years now, and I didn't really know where this person was, spiritually or on their journey with the Lord, Now, I knew I could call this person and it wouldn't be like, what are you calling me for? Because, we have that relationship and that history. But the conversation's going good. And I'm like, I just, have to tell you something. Like, God is really pressing on me to tell you something. And it's not good. It's not something that's good. Even though our conversation was going good, I'm like, it's not a good thing. And, she was like, well, whatever it is, I'm just, I'm open to receive it. I'm just, whatever it is, tell me, it's fine. And so I confessed this. And I sincerely apologize, because I was sorry. I really was sorry. Like I said, I loved this person. I always cared about this person. We just weren't the closest, over, time or whatever. But I always loved and cared about this person. And, so, as we began, I began to confess, and she said, you know what? And I was like, I'll tell you everything. Like, I don't care, whatever. And she said, you know what? I don't need to know everything. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to wonder. She said, I forgive you. And, she said, I've been praying for the last 2 years for God to reveal things to me and to open my eyes and to show me people's hearts and this and this and that. And she said, you know what, this is actually an answered prayer. She said, and I've been praying for this. And she said, you're actually the first person to come forward, and we just began to, because God has really been doing a work in her life and, just changing her. Because like I said, I know this person Never had any problems with this person, but I know this person all my life. And so I'm like, this is going to be hell. You know what I mean? Like, this is not going to be good when I say what I have to say. And when I tell you that it just ended up being a beautiful, beautiful conversation. We just ministered to each other. God was there in the midst. He was there in our midst. And it was just beautiful for both of us. Like, it was just so beautiful. And ever since, like I said, we had kind of, it's a thing where, like, we might text each other on like birthdays or, things like that, but we're not really close. And like, ever since, it's like opened a new door, like a new relationship, that God is just all over. And so, I just wanted to come on here and encourage someone that if there's something you've done, if there's something that, you need to confess or that you're feeling guilty of, I just want to let you know, first of all, Jesus did not die on the cross for us to walk around harboring guilt, shame, beating ourselves up. He did not die on the cross for that. You know what I mean? He died on the cross for us to be free. And I really thought God was being hard on me when he was like, you need to confess this. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? I'm like, why are you always telling me to do something so hard? You know what I mean? And when I tell you, it just could not have been more of a blessing, especially at this point in my life where really I don't, talk to anyone else. There are some people, one or two people that God has blessed me with since I've been on this journey that I do talk to and, are just a blessing to my life. But it has been such an unexpected, like, newfound relationship and open door. Would have never expected it. And it's just been a blessing. And so if you're harboring anything, if there's something that you need to confess or address or apologize for, when I tell you it went completely unexpected, like, I did not expect it to go that way. And we have just been a blessing to each other ever since. Well, I hope I'm just as much of a blessing to her. But ever since, we've been keeping in touch, praying for one another. And it was just truly, truly beautiful, just catching up and everything that God has been doing in both of our lives and with us and through us. It was just beautiful. So I just want to encourage someone, do what you need to do, especially if you feel God pressing it on you to have the conversation or to just, don't be fearful, because the devil was really trying to, like, talk me out of it, and I went ahead and I was obedient, and it ended up being a complete blessing to me and to them. And so just be obedient. Don't be afraid. It's not always comfortable what you're going to have to do. But one other thing that I'll say, I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm free now, because I've always been a loyal person, a genuine person. And this truly was a mistake that I made when I was very, very young. And, I've been holding on to that all these years. And now I'm free. Now I'm free. I don't have to worry about, man, like, this is going to come out one day. How's it going to come out? You know what I mean? What's going to be said? How am I going to deal with it? Not only do I not have to worry anymore, God turned it around to be an absolute blessing to my life. And so God is just so good. He is so, so, so faithful. So if he's telling you to do something, just trust him. It may not be easy. You may have to pace back and forth. You might want to go back and forth with God a little bit, or whatever the case may be. That's what I was doing. But don't allow the devil to get you to be disobedient, because When I tell you blessings are on the other side of obedience, they truly, truly are. And God knows what he's doing, and he has your best interest at heart always. Okay, so I love you guys. I thank you. Thank you to all my newer subscribers. Thank you to all my subscribers, but the new ones, a special thanks to you guys. I know I haven't been on here in a while. Life just be life, and y'all. But I bless you guys. You guys, if you want to sow into my life, into my ministry here, and just what God is doing in my life, I'm going to put my Cash App link in the description. It will be very helpful to me. I also have a book on Amazon, an ebook. It's called 5 Steps to Upgrading Mind, Body, and Soul. And it is $5.99 now on Amazon. I did up the price a little bit, but it's only $5.99 still. And so if you guys want to support that, and grab my ebook, that will be much appreciated as well. So I pray that all you guys were blessed by this message and that it encourages someone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.